First of all, I appreciate y'all putting words in my mouth this week, and therefore, I'm not going to discuss it.
How were words put in your mouth?
You saw the reports.
What report?
Next question. Next question.
Who here put the words in?
Next question.
I know, but what reporter here put the words in your mouth?
I'm not answering the question.
I know, but you said you.
As a group.
Well, that makes no sense. You're not going to lump us all together. Okay.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right.
I'm going to lump you all together.
Okay, well, that's good. We're asking a fair question.
What's the point of this? I mean,
Exactly. What is the point of this? It's my decision.
and you're not going to discuss your decision.
No.
So why are you having a news
Not
conference?
publicly. Not publicly. I don't do that. I don't do it with any position on this team. I will not do it.
Was Carson cleared for contact?
He is not.
He has not been
Not
cleared
yet.
for contact. Okay.
Not yet.
So Doug, I mean, if he hasn't been cleared, is it your decision to even make?
My decision to make?
I mean, if he hasn't been cleared for contact, would it even be
We
your
got
decision?
a lot of days left.
So if he's cleared today or tomorrow, he has enough time to prepare for the Falcons if that was the scenario.
We'll see.
Is your refusal to talk about it based on competitive advantage or just because?
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I'm trying to win a football game, you know? And I don't want to put my game plan out there for everybody to see it and read it, and teams can scheme, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense, you know? So I appreciate it.
Who will take the first team reps today
You have other players who are injured and haven't been able to participate much in the preseason. Carson aside, does that concern you going into a game against a team that's pretty familiar with you and played you pretty well the last time you saw them?
Who are you speaking of?
Jason Peters, Alshon Jeffrey, a couple of running backs. They haven't been on the field in the preseason. Does it concern you that they haven't been on
They haven't been on the field in games. They've been in practice. It's a difference. I've held them out of games specifically. Practice is another thing. They've practiced all training camp.
Right. Does it concern you that they didn't play in the games? It's kind of different.
Why? Why do they need to be in the game? I mean, I've answered this question all at training camp. I've held Jason Peters, he's ready to go. I've held Darren Sproles, he's ready to go. They've practiced. They've been in our practice. Practices are a lot tougher sometimes than games are. We've seen everything we need to see.
Because of any of that, are you worried about rust in this game?
From who?
From those guys who haven't played in the games, from guys like Nelson Aguilar who missed practice, from Corey Clement who missed practice, from Matt Collins who missed practice.
Nelson's practiced all week.
Well, he missed a significant portion during training camp.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
He's back. He's fine.
So you're not worried about rust?
Are you where you want to be going into the opener in terms of guys missing time and so forth? Is it?
I feel really good about where we're at as a football team. I really do. I'm excited about this opportunity Thursday night.
The report that you, after talking to the players, decided to take down the Super Bowl thing in the locker room. Is that true? And what went into that decision?
The decision just to move on, move past, move to 2018.
Did they come to you, or was it just part of the discussion?
A little both. A little both.
Doug, when will your quarterbacks talk with the media this week? Are you concerned that you're placing them in a situation in which they'll have to answer questions about who's taking which reps?
I'm sure that day will come, yeah. I'm sure. And I'm sure you're probably going to ask.
A bunch of questions about who will be the starting quarterback as well.
That's why I rely on my man here. He does a great job.
But the quarterback whom you've decided upon is taking pretty much all the reps in practice today, tomorrow, and Tuesday. Is that correct?
It's usually how it works, yes.
Doug, you've been around Super Bowl teams both as a player and a coach. You're down to 53 now. How do you feel about this group compared to last year's group coming in?
It's a different football team. It's a different vibe. It's a different year. I don't compare last year to this year. We have a 0-0 record, and we've got a great opportunity to compete Thursday night. And we'll find out a lot about our football team this week. But it's different. It's different. The whole thing is different. And that's a good thing. That's positive because you're moving forward. You're progressive. You're never staying the same. And this team is moving forward, and I'm excited about this team Thursday night.
The roster decisions, Howie was saying how, Stephen Means was a tough call. Can you talk about some of the other ones?
I mean, it's the nature of the business. You're trying to get to 53. You're trying to find the best 53. There are some tough decisions that have to be made. Obviously, Stephen's one of them. What he's meant to this football team, and and a lot of times, as I've said before, this comes down to possibly a special teams issue. Being able to play on teams, and some of the young players that we end up releasing possibly can come back on practice squad and all of that, and those are all the things we're working through, these next few days.
How is Jay Ajayi doing?
Great. Yes.
How much have you watched film of the playoff win over the Falcons, and do you feel like defensively that's what you're going to see again this week with Dan Quinn and his cover 3?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great game. Number one, great football team that we're going up against. I think they might feel like, with the amount of, especially defensively, the amount of starters coming back. I mean, it's a good defense, good team, good scheme. It's a great challenge. I've watched the game a couple times, but I've also watched a bunch of other games. Not only ours, but the ones they've played in the past and preseason, and and I bet you Coach Quinn's saying the same thing, that it's a different team, different season. A lot of things obviously can happen, but it's a great opportunity for both teams this Thursday.
Is it helpful to have that game because you don't have regular season film from them this year?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. We've played them the last 2 years. They kind of know us. We kind of know them a little bit, so it doesn't really matter.
With a defense like that plays a lot of the same coverages, what are the challenges as a game planner to kind of find new ways to attack them, or compared to what they see on a weekly basis?
The biggest challenge really is because it's a really good defense, and because they don't do a lot defensively, they kind of just line up and make you march down the field. I mean, those have always been tough defenses to scheme against, and it takes a lot of detail in route running. Obviously, it starts up front with the offensive line, protection, the run game. But we can look back on things we've done well against them, things that other teams have done, and really going into the first game, you don't want to, because emotions are running, juices are flowing kind of high. You want to keep things as sort of simple as possible, so your guys can cut it loose and play.
Doug, we talked about game day communication a little bit, the change from Frank and John to Mike and Press. How do you think that has gone for you in the preseason, and do you think you're ready for Thursday night?
It's gone well. Part of the preseason process is to work out communication between the coaches and even the coaches that have been here before. Some of the roles have changed, some of the duties have changed on game day offensively based on what we've done in the past, and it's just each week got better and better. The communication's great. Mike does a great job of grabbing information from the staff and then bringing it to me during the course of the game, while maybe I'm on defense, watching and listening to the defensive calls. So it's been a really good process, and Press does a good job upstairs with the quarterbacks and talking to them, and keeping me kind of informed as to what the defense has been doing, previous series before, things like that. So it's been pretty flawless.
What sort of role do you envision for DeAndre Carter? Is there a chance he'll be active Thursday?
Well, there's always a chance, he's first of all, he did a nice job in preseason for us, the games he's played, and it's a role that we can put him in some situations to be effective, use his skill set, and it's hard to say how many touches or if he's going to be active, but at the same time he'll get some work with the offense this week. Primarily, but he's a guy that you know, we've come to find out he can really handle multiple positions, you know, inside and outside. So we'll probably try to move him around this week in practice some.
If you don't have Alshon, it's a pretty inexperienced group of receivers behind Nelson. What gives you confidence about this group? A lot of them haven't played a lot of football.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity for them, you know, and I'm looking forward to getting out there with them and getting to work today and getting them prepared. And you know, Mike Wallace has a lot of experience. Nelly's played a lot. You got Zach Ertz has played a lot. Sproles has played a lot. You know, so we've got some other guys that can help, you know, kind of pick up that slack.
Hey Doug, what tone do you want to set for your team this week? You know, starting a new season, practice week.
Yeah, I mean, I think just this week, the way we handle our business, this is kind of the second time since training camp, you know, 1 week in training camp, and now this being the second week that our starters will practice together the game plan, and so you know we've got to maintain a level of physicality up front with both lines, offense and defensively. You know, this type of team that we're playing is a physical team, and they pride themselves in the run game offensively with big shot, play action, pass capability. I think, you know, their quarterback is obviously a tremendous quarterback, and Julio Jones, we know what he is, and all of that. And we have to match that same physicality, you know, going into a game like this.
Okay,